9% financing for 60 months on the Go Anywhere, Do Anything 4Runner. Or 1.9% financing for 60 months on the full-size American-made Tundra. With these vehicles from Toyota, never stop exploring. Toyota, let's go places.
Victims are honored with silence and avenged with thunder. Police go on a manhunt for accomplices and identify a possible mastermind. More U.S. governors say no to Syrian refugees. The president defends his war on ISIS.
The strategy that we are putting forward is the strategy that ultimately is going to work.
And a tale of two survivors. When you went into the cafe, what did you see?
This is the CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley, reporting tonight from Paris.
The bells here at the Cathedral of Notre Dame tolled today for the 129 people who died in the terror attacks. And tonight, in their honor, the Eiffel Tower is bathed in the French national colors. The terrorists left the heart of this nation wounded, but the president vowed they will never destroy its soul. France observed a moment of silence at noon today to remember the dead and pray for the wounded. The victims were from 19 nations, including the United States. Secretary of State John Kerry arrived here to pay America's respects to its oldest ally. Kerry said, "Tonight, we are all Parisians." French President François Hollande addressed a joint session of Parliament in the Versailles Palace the morning after France launched airstrikes against ISIS targets in Syria. Hollande vowed, "It is just the beginning." 7 terrorists died in the attacks Friday night, but tonight the hunt continues for more. Elizabeth Palmer is following that.
The police response to the attacks was swift and widespread. Along with an aggressive manhunt, security services carried out more than 150 property searches, slapped house arrest orders on over 100 people, and deported 38 more. In Paris, President François Hollande vowed that terrorism would not defeat the French Republic. The Republic, he said, would defeat terrorism. But it's a tall order. High-profile security around Parisian landmarks projects an image of force and vigilance. But in fact, most public places are soft targets, as Friday's attacks proved with chilling clarity. Mathieu Guider is an expert on extremism and radicalization.
The terrorists have realized that big Western cities are very vulnerable.
Exactly. We were protected by the perception of our security, and this perception has failed with the Paris case now. So all the cities in the world, all the main capitals in the world are now really vulnerable.
It was a game changer.
It was a game changer, yeah, this one.
The French president today described Syria as the greatest terrorism factory the world has ever known.
Pour tous les ennemis de l'islam.
And right now, more than 500 French citizens are there, fighting with ISIS. At least 3 of the men directly linked to Friday's attacks did time on that battlefield and were already known to French intelligence. One of them was even supposed to report regularly to the police, but he stopped showing up. Then 3 days ago, he surfaced as one of the killers at the Bataclan concert hall.
The truth is that with 10,000 open files on suspected radicals that need monitoring either in person or online, French intelligence is simply overwhelmed. Scott.
Liz Palmer. Thank you, Liz. The dragnet extended quickly beyond France, and Alan Pizzi reports tonight from Belgium.
The international manhunt brought Belgian police to this house in the Brussels suburb of Molenbeek, where they thought one of the suspects was hiding, but they came up empty-handed. Their target was Salah Abdeslam, a 26-year-old man authorities believed rented a car that was used in the attacks. He was reportedly stopped by the police and then released just hours after the attacks, and it was feared he returned to this neighborhood. The 2 men who were with Abdeslam have now been arrested and one of his brothers blew himself up with a suicide vest outside a restaurant. A third brother, Mohammed, said his family did not understand why they did it. We never had any problem with justice, he said. My parents are in shock. They don't quite realize what has happened. The impoverished suburb of Molenbeek is known to be a hotbed of jihadist recruitment. The mayor says at least 30 young men have left here to go to fight for ISIS in Syria. The neighborhood was also home to this man, Abdelhamid Aboud, whom French investigators believe is the mastermind behind the terrorist attacks. Aboud is now thought to be in Syria and has appeared in ISIS propaganda videos. He even recruited his own 13-year-old brother into ISIS. Molenbeek is where the jihadi and criminal worlds meet. One-stop shopping, experts say, for drugs, explosives, and automatic weapons. An extremist dream, a security nightmare. Scott?
Alan Pizzi in Brussels for us tonight. Thank you, Alan. It appears at least one of the attackers slipped into Europe in the wave of refugees who fled Syria. The clue is in a passport found near the body of a suicide bomber outside the soccer stadium. Holly Williams picks up the story in Athens.
Greece says this man arrived on its shores claiming to be a refugee on October 3rd and used this Syrian passport, suspected to be a fake, which identifies him as Ahmed al-Mohammed, 25 years old and born in Idlib, northwestern Syria. Yanis Mazalis is the Greek immigration minister.
He didn't have any record?
Nothing at all.
So there was no reason for you to suspect
nothing at all.
That he might be an extremist?
Yes, it was like you and like me, only that he was in a boat with other refugees.
The man carrying the passport crossed to Greece from Turkey, the same route used by over 600,000 migrants this year, many of them Syrian refugees. He didn't appear on any international wanted lists, so he was registered by the Greek authorities, fingerprinted, and then allowed to enter Europe.
If someone is clean and he's going to be an extremist, this is something that you cannot check it anywhere.
It's long been feared that ISIS could use the flood of refugees to smuggle its fighters into Europe. But Scott, this case seems to show just how easy it is to do so.
Holly Williams in Athens tonight. Holly, thank you. And yet President Obama said again today that he wants to resettle tens of thousands of refugees in the U.S. But after Paris, his plan has hit a roadblock. And here's Nancy Cordes.
The terror attacks in France became a partisan issue in this country today, with at least 15 governors, all Republicans, announcing they will try to block Syrian refugees from resettling in their states. Michigan Governor Rick Snyder.
Actually saying we were going to suspend things until we had a chance to talk to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security.
He and the others say they'll direct state agencies not to provide Syrians the types of relocation services normally supplied to refugees. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker.
The safety and security of the people of the Commonwealth of Mass is my highest priority.
That sentiment was shared by more than half the GOP presidential field, who said the U.S. should halt plans to welcome 10,000 Syrian refugees over the next year.
There are genuine refugees that need to be cared for, but they should be resettled in the Middle East in majority Muslim countries.
Frontrunner Donald Trump said he might also close some mosques if he becomes president.
It's something that you're going to have to strongly consider, because some of the ideas and some of the hatred, the absolute hatred, is coming from these areas.
Roughly 4 million Syrians have been displaced by the fighting. Applicants for resettlement here are screened by the Departments of State and Homeland Security. Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush argued the U.S. should focus on accepting Syrian Christians, not Muslims.
Because they're being slaughtered in the country, and but for us who?
The president sharply rejected that suggestion at the G20 summit in Turkey.
That's shameful. That's not American. It's not who we are. We don't have religious tests to our compassion.
The new House Speaker, Paul Ryan, says he's considering legislation that would beef up screening for refugees. The reality is, Scott, there's very little a governor can do to keep someone from living in their state once they've been allowed into the country.
Nancy Cordes at the Capitol. Nancy, thank you. The Paris attacks are the third major operation claimed by ISIS in just over 2 weeks. A Russian jetliner blew up over Egypt, killing all 224 on board. U.S. officials say a bomb was the likely cause. Last Thursday, twin suicide blasts in Beirut killed 43. But after Paris, we're in a whole new world, according to Michael Morrell, a former number 2 at the CIA and now CBS News senior security contributor.
I say whole new world for 2 reasons. One is ISIS now has developed an attack capability in the West. They told us that they would do that. They've now done it in Western Europe. They told us that they will do that in the United States. They will eventually do that unless they are degraded. The second whole new world here is the targets they've chosen to attack. People don't sympathize with, but they certainly understand when ISIS attacks a government target or a military target, or even Charlie Hebdo when somebody has defamed the prophet. People understand that. It's much more difficult to understand an attack on our very way of life that sows fear and terror.
To that end, ISIS has posted new threats online, and Jeff Pegues has more on that.
The video purporting to be from ISIS promised an attack on Washington, but U.S. officials say there is no specific or credible threat against the United States. On Capitol Hill, police are telling congressional staff to take precautions like using the tunnels around the Capitol instead of walking above ground. Dismiss! And in New York, a new specialized police unit is providing extra security at key locations. SWAT teams and bomb-sniffing dogs are patrolling train stations, airports, and NFL stadiums around the country. But a response to a threat is only as good as the intelligence. And U.S. law enforcement believes one blind spot is when terrorists go dark, hiding their online communications. Investigators say members of ISIS lure potential sympathizers to social media apps and forums where the messages self-destruct or are encrypted. Law enforcement has been pressing the technology industry for access to that data when national security is at risk. But so far, privacy concerns have won out. CIA Director John Brennan.
I do hope that this is going to be a wake-up call, particularly in areas of Europe where I think there has been a misrepresentation of what the intelligence and security services are doing.
Brennan warns more attacks like Paris could be coming.
I would anticipate that this is not the only operation that ISIL has in the pipeline.
The tech industry says calls to weaken encrypted products undermine cybersecurity. Scott, a law enforcement source is confident the attackers used encrypted communications, but it's unclear whether investigators have the attackers' cell phones and computers.
Jeff Pegues in Washington for us tonight. Jeff, thank you. The French airstrikes overnight in Syria targeted Raqqa, which ISIS claims is the capital of its so-called caliphate. David Martin has that.
The French chose targets based on sensitive U.S. intelligence that had not been provided to them before the Paris attacks. They were military targets, a command center, an ammo dump, and training camps, which the U.S. would have hit sooner or later in any event, as Charlie D'Agata reported from northern Iraq.
This is a show of force for the French, and a message France is fighting back.
However, U.S. officials say there are plans to hit new targets that had once been off-limits. Installations previously considered part of the civilian infrastructure ISIS relies on to run the territory it occupies. Until now, civilian targets have been limited to the oil facilities ISIS uses to generate an estimated $1 million a day in black market oil sales. U.S. officials say those strikes have been ineffective, causing damage that could be repaired within a day or two. 2 weeks ago, the U.S. began a bombing campaign designed to knock out oil facilities for 6 months to a year. Last night, American A-10s and AC-130 gunships destroyed 116 tanker trucks in Syria after first dropping leaflets and conducting strafing runs to scare the civilian drivers away. More strikes against more targets will increase the risk of civilian casualties, especially since U.S. officials now expect Russia to increase its own bombing campaign against ISIS. Scott?
David Martin at the Pentagon. David, thank you. In a story for 60 Minutes, we spoke with two survivors of the attacks. Mark Colclough witnessed the shooting at a cafe, and a man named Francois, who did not want us to use his last name, suffered a grazing bullet wound from the music hall massacre.
I heard the gunshots, about 10. He shot in my direction, so I just lay down more on the floor, like head on the ground. And then that's how I felt the bullets in my back.
Can you show me where you were hit?
So I was shot here, on the back, just below my shoulder, and the bullet came out here.
So lucky to be alive.
Yeah, yeah.
He shot 3 of them, just like that. The 3 that were sitting outside, he shot very quickly. Then he shot into the car, then he moved into the cafe, looked right, panned right with his weapon, didn't shoot, panned left, duck, 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 pause, duck, 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 pause. So paramedics were there very quickly, and they ran into the cafe.
When you went into the cafe, what did you see?
Wounded. And then towards the bar, I could see on our left, I could see there were 3 or 4 dead bodies lying in front of the bar.
We will hear next from an American witness to the attacks when the CBS Evening News continues from Paris.
With the pain and swelling of my moderate to severe rheumatoid arthritis, ordinary objects often seemed intimidating.
Doing something simple meant enduring a lot of pain.
If RA is changing your view of everyday things, Orencia may help. Orencia works differently by targeting a source of RA early in the inflammation process. For many, Orencia provides long-term relief of RA symptoms. It's helped new RA patients and those not helped enough by other treatments. Do not take Orencia with another biologic medicine for RA due to an increased risk of serious infection. Serious side effects can occur, including fatal infections. Cases of lymphoma and lung cancer have been reported. Tell your doctor if you're prone to or have any infection like an open sore, the flu, or a history of COPD, a chronic lung disease. Orencia may worsen your COPD. If you're not getting the relief you need, ask your doctor about Orencia. Orencia, see your RA in a different way.
You both have a perfect driving record.
Perfect.
No tickets, no accidents.
That is until one of you clips a food truck, ruining your perfect record.
Yeah.
Now, you would think your insurance company would cut you some slack, right?
No, your insurance rates go through the roof. Your perfect record doesn't get you anything.
Anything.
Perfect.
For drivers with accident forgiveness, Liberty Mutual won't raise your rates due to your first accident. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Centrum brings us the biggest news in multivitamin history. A moment when something so familiar becomes something so new. Introducing new Centrum Vitamins, a multivitamin that contains a full spectrum of essential nutrients you enjoy like a mint. New Centrum Vitamins. Go to Centrum.com for a $4 coupon.
The American who was killed in the assault on Paris celebrated her 23rd birthday here last month. Noemi Gonzalez was a student at Cal State Long Beach on a semester abroad. Today, she was the one thought on the minds of her classmates here during the national moment of silence. They are students of design who crafted a memorial for Noemi Gonzalez in the lobby that she raced through on the way to class. The absence of sound deafened the mind. That picture, Noemi under the moon in Amsterdam, was shot by her friend, Cal State student Niran Jassiri.
She was always a very cheerful person. You hardly see her in a bad mood. She always smiles at you, even though how late she's been working. She's just a charismatic person.
He may have been the last to see Noemi alive, standing next to her at a cafe as a terrorist opened fire.
First, I thought it was firecrackers because it sounded like firecrackers. So when I looked into the direction where the noise was coming, and then I saw a gunman just walking on the sidewalk, just shooting everywhere.
And in that moment, you thought what?
Run for it. Just run for it.
He ran with a wounded student. They hid until help arrived. Jaziri and Anna Ramirez met Noemi as freshmen 4 years ago.
The way I see it is not that we lost her, but we have to just remember what she taught us, and that's how she's going to be present with us. And I know she's here with us.
As students of design, they were in the capital of the world. Noemi was raised by a single mom, and she'd never been abroad before. She aspired to create products for the home that are easy on the environment, to make the world more beautiful than she found it. And we'll be right back.
With my moderate to severe ulcerative colitis, the possibility of a flare was almost always on my mind. Thinking about what to avoid, where to go, and how to deal with my UC. To me, that was normal until I talked to my doctor. She told me that Humira helps people like me get UC under control and keep it under control when certain medications haven't worked well enough.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Raise your expectations. Ask your gastroenterologist about Humira. With Humira, control is possible.
This is Brad. His day of coaching begins with knee pain when...
Hey, Brad, want to trade the all-day relief of 2-Aleve for 6 Tylenol?
What's the catch?
There's no catch.
You want me to give up my 2-Aleve for 6 Tylenol? No. For my knee pain, nothing beats my Aleve.
Think your heartburn pill works fast? Take the Zantac It Challenge. Zantac works in as little as 30 minutes. Nexium can take 24 hours. When heartburn strikes, take Zantac for faster relief than Nexium or your money back. Take the Zantac It Challenge.
Believe it. AT&T and DirecTV are now one, which means you can watch in the house, in a tree house, or even in Miss Pepper Pie's house. Pause in your PJs and hit play during a PB&J. Nice! And enjoy some cartoons instead of listening to Dad's cartoons.
Beat you all the way.
Get DirecTV at home and 2 wireless lines for under $99 a month from DirecTV and AT&T.
Holly Bobo's accused killer is a desperate man. Jason Autry is facing the death penalty. Behind bars for more than a year, he's kept busy writing letters to News Channel 5's Nick Ferris. And he's talking like his life depends on it. In a News Channel 5 exclusive tonight at 6.
Shocking revelation from Charlie Sheen. The news that is sure to stun the nation. Winning. Next Inside Edition.
Tomorrow at 4:30 on News Channel 5.
In Turkey today, President Obama said his strategy against ISIS is ultimately going to work. Here's Margaret Brennan.
Have you underestimated their abilities? And will you widen the rules of engagement for U.S. forces to take more aggressive action?
No, we haven't underestimated our abilities. This is precisely why we're in Iraq as we speak and why we're operating in Syria as we speak. If you have a handful of people who don't mind dying, they can kill a lot of people. That's one of the challenges of terrorism. It's not their sophistication or the particular weaponry that they possess, but it is the ideology that they carry with them and their willingness to die.
The president said sending U.S. ground troops is not an option.
Every few months I go to Walter Reed. and I see a 25-year-old kid who's paralyzed or has lost his limbs, and some of those are people I've ordered into battle. And so I can't afford to play some of the political games that others may.
As for critics of his strategy, President Obama dismissed them as all talk. For now, the president is putting his weight behind a diplomatic gamble to broker a ceasefire in Syria. Traveling with the president, Margaret Brennan, CBS News, Antalya, Turkey.
Final words from Paris in a moment.
I built my business with passion, but I keep it growing by making every dollar count. That's why I have the Spark Cash Card from Capital One. I earn unlimited 2% cash back on everything I buy for my studio. And that unlimited 2% cash back from Spark means thousands of dollars each year going back into my business. And that's huge for my bottom line. What's in your wallet?
Salonpas salutes you. People working hard to improve the world. You inspired us to improve these. Salonpas pain relieving patches. 20% larger with better adhesion and more medicine to fight pain than ever before. Salonpas, the patch you love, improved.
For adults with an advanced lung cancer called squamous non-small cell, previously treated with platinum-based chemotherapy, it's not every day something this big comes along. A chance to live longer. With Opdivo, nivolumab. Opdivo is the first and only immunotherapy FDA approved based on a clinical trial demonstrating longer life for these patients. In fact, Opdivo significantly increased the chance of living longer versus chemotherapy. Opdivo is different. It works with your immune system. Opdivo can cause your immune system to attack normal organs and tissues in your body and affect how they work. This may happen anytime during or after treatment is ended and may become serious and lead to death. See your doctor right away if you experience new or worsening cough, chest pain, shortness of breath, diarrhea, severe stomach pain or tenderness, severe nausea or vomiting, loss of appetite, swollen ankles, extreme fatigue, constipation, rash, or muscle or joint pain, as this may keep these problems from becoming more serious. These are not all the possible side effects of Opdivo. Tell your doctor about all your medical conditions, including immune system problems, or if you've had an organ transplant or lung, breathing, or liver problems. A chance to live longer. Ask your doctor if Opdivo is right for you. Bristol Myers Squibb thanks the patients and physicians who participated in the Opdivo clinical trial.
Many people clean their dentures with toothpaste or plain water. And even though their dentures look clean, in reality, they're not. If a denture were to be put under a microscope, we can see all the bacteria that still exist on the denture. And that bacteria multiplies very rapidly. That's why dentists recommend cleaning with Polident every day. Polident's unique microclean formula works in just 3 minutes, killing 99.99% of odor-causing bacteria. For a cleaner, fresher, brighter denture every day.
If you have high blood pressure like I do, many cold medicines may raise your blood pressure. That's why there's Coricidin HBP. It relieves cold symptoms without raising blood pressure. So look for powerful cold medicine with the heart. Coricidin HBP.
He's one of three every morning.
Charlie Daggett is on the ground with Kurdish forces.
They're going after any ISIS militants that may remain here.
CBS This Morning.
Here in Paris, the Eiffel Tower will be lit in blue, white, and red for 3 nights of mourning. Have a look at the red section. That's the motto of Paris, tossed but not sunk, a tribute to the resilience of the city, where light always overcomes darkness, and where today the most powerful sound was the sound of silence. That's the CBS Evening News from Paris. For all of us at CBS News all around the world, good night.
Tonight, state lawmakers demand answers about Metro schools' grading practices following our News Channel 5 investigation.
What goes through the mind of a man charged with killing Holly Bobo? Tonight in a News Channel 5 exclusive, Jason Autry in his own words.
This former Rutherford County judge lost his re-election bid But this surveillance video shows him in a place no one expected.
Their 7-year-old daughter was found murdered outside a high school football field.
I never thought anything like this would happen to my baby.
Tonight, her parents shared their grief as the search for the killer continues.
From your news and information leader, this is News Channel 5 at 6.
Who killed Gabby Doolin? It is a question which has rocked us.